Welcome everyone, this is your math tutor Naresh. This is part 2 of the tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to do some practice questions dealing with brackets, removing brackets, collecting like terms, and simplifying. Alright, so first example. So let's say we're given positive 2 times 3x plus 4 minus 3 times negative x minus 1. So how do we remove brackets and simplify? So 2 is being multiplied with each and every term that's inside the bracket. So let's multiply. Positive times positive is positive. 2 times 3x is 6x. Now let's multiply 2 with the second term. So positive times positive is positive. 2 times 4 is 8. So we're done with the first bracket. Now let's do the same thing with the second bracket. So negative 3 times negative x. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times x is 3x. Now let's multiply negative 3 with the second term. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 1 is 3. So now we've removed the second bracket. Now what we want to do is collect like terms if there are any. So yes, we have an x term and another x term, and then we have two constant terms. So what's 6x plus 3x? That's 9x. And add the constants. So 8 and 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. And we're done. So that's the answer. 9x plus 11. Okay. Let's do another example. Number 2. So we have negative 5 times x minus a minus 2a plus 3x. So again, remove brackets and then collect like terms, and you'll be done. So negative 5 times x. So negative times positive is negative. 5 times x is 5x. Multiply with the second term. Negative times negative is positive. 5 times a is 5a. So we're done with the first bracket. Now let's remove the second bracket. So negative 1 times 2a is going to be negative 2a. Negative 1 times positive 3x is going to be negative 3x. So because we had a factor of negative 1, the signs will change when we bring the terms outside the brackets. Right? Now collect like terms. Okay, so we have an x term and we also have another x term. So negative 5x and negative 3x. So we're adding two negative numbers, negative 5 and negative 3, add to give us negative 8, so it's negative 8x. And now we have the a terms, which are alike. So 5a take away 2a. 5 take away 2 is 3, so this is 3a. So that's the answer, negative 8x plus 3a. Alright, so I will erase and we'll do some more practice questions. So number 3, negative 4 times negative 5 plus a, and then plus 2a minus 1. So again, it's just repetition. We're practicing a lot of questions. Practice is what makes you perfect. So what I would suggest is, as I write these questions down, pause the tutorial, write it down, work it out, and then watch to see if you get the same answer, right? So that way you'll learn more. It's easy to watch me do them and explain. So when you are just listening, it looks easy, but it's actually another thing when you actually sit down for yourself, write the question down, and go through the mechanical process. All right, so that's when you'll really know how much you really know. Okay. All right. So negative 4 gets multiplied with each and every term of the brackets. negative times negative is positive. 4 times 5 is 20. Multiply with the second term. Negative times positive is negative. 4 times a is 4a. And now when I remove the bracket here, I know I'm going to get whatever is inside the bracket. But I'll go through the mechanical process anyways. It's good because we're learning, right? So 1 times 2a is 2a. Positive 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Right? So now collect like terms. So here we have a and another a term. Negative 4a plus 2a. So 2 take away 4. That'll give us negative 2. So it's negative 2a. And now we have the 20 and then we have minus 1. 20 take away 1 is 19. So that's the answer. Alright. So now let's okay, so let's okay, I'm going to skip some questions here. So okay, so alright, I'm going to call it number 4, but it's actually a different number on my sheet. So negative 5a plus 4 times negative 2a plus 3 plus 13 times a. So that's the question. And how do we simplify? Okay, so this, there's nothing we need to do at this point, so we simply copy negative 5a. And here we're going to multiply. Positive times negative is negative. 4 times 2a is 8a. Multiply with the second term. Positive times positive is positive. 4 times 3 is 12. And the last term, so 13 times a is 13a. Okay, so we're done removing brackets. And now we're going to collect like terms. So we have an a term, another a term, and another a term. So what's negative 5a and negative 8a? That is negative 13a. Okay. And we have positive 13a. So they actually cancel each other out. Right? So these three terms cancel each other out because negative 5a and negative 18a, that gives me negative 13a. And then I have positive 13a. So the sum is actually 0. Okay, so all we're left with is 12. So the answer is 12. Okay, so now we'll do more examples. So I'm trying to do a number of examples so you get the hang of it, but the concept is the same. We're not doing anything different. We're just dealing with different factors, different numbers, different terms inside the brackets, but it's the exact same thing, right? So if you can do the very first example we did, you can do all of these. Okay, so now let's okay, so this is something different. So I don't know what number it is, it doesn't really matter. So 14 minus negative 3 plus 19 minus 5, and then plus we have 2 times 98 minus 97. Okay, so now we've got no variables in this, right? So we're going to remove brackets and then collect like terms, right? So 2 times 98 and 2 times 97. Wow, those are some big numbers. Okay. So there's more than one way of doing the same thing. So I'm going to take a slightly different approach with this one. So here, copy 14 for now, as is. And now I have, so up until now, I have always multiplied this negative with each and every term, right? And we did that because we had different terms inside. Right? So when I say different terms, meaning we had unlike terms. So we could have had a constant, an x term, and a term. But in this question, all of these are alike. So now I have a choice. I can collect what's inside the bracket first and then secondary remove the bracket, right? Or I can do what I have always done, bring these numbers out of the bracket, change their sign, and then I can collect at the end, right? So why did we not do that with the previous examples? Because we didn't have terms that were alike, right? So here the three terms are alike, so we can actually collect them before we remove the brackets. So let's do that first. So copy your minus as is. Now what's the sum here, right? What does that add up to? So -3, -5, so that adds up to -8, right? -3, -5 is -8, and then we want to add 19. So what's 19 take away 8? So 9 take away 8 is 1, and then so that's 11, right? So this actually simplifies to 11, so I will put 11 here. Okay, now let's move on to the next term. So here, right, I can multiply 2 with the 98, right? That's going to be a number close to 200. You know, maybe it's too big to multiply in our head. And then 2 times 97, again, slightly, again, it's a big number, right? So what we can do is, so I choose not to multiply this out at this point. What I choose to do with this question is, I will collect what's inside the bracket first, because both of these terms are alike. They are constants, right? So sometimes you have to make that judgment call which way you want to proceed. If you multiply 2 with the 98, 2 with the 97, remove the brackets, and then collected constants at the end, that would work just fine. But it's just, you know, if you can make your life easier, then do so by all means. Okay, so we have 2. Now what's 98 take away 97? That's 1, right? So that's why I chose to do it this way. 98 take away 97 is 1, rather than multiplying 2 with 98 and 2 with 97. So now what I can do is, now I can remove brackets. So copy 14, -1 times 11 is -11. So 2 times 1 is 2, so that's +2. Okay, so now we can add these. So 14 plus 2 is 16. 16 take away 11 is 5. So that's the answer there. Okay, so this was slightly different because all the terms inside the brackets were alike. They're all constants. Okay, so now let's do okay, so let's do another that looks complicated. So -40 times 3x minus 7y plus 9x plus 6y minus 11x, and then plus 2x on the outside. So how do we finish this? Okay, so alright, we can multiply -40 with each and every term inside the bracket, right? Or we can do what we did in our previous question. So are there any terms that are alike inside the bracket here? We have an x term, we have an x term, we have an x term, and then we have y terms. So I think in this case it would make sense to collect like terms before we multiply the -40. And the reason being is, you know, I have to multiply -40 how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? But if I can collect them, then I can reduce my multiplication work. So you'll see as we work this out. So copy -40 as is for now. So collect the x terms. 3x plus 9x, so that's 12x. 12x take away 11x is 1x. So that's just an x. And now collect the y terms. So -7y plus 6y is -1y. So that's just -y. Well, look, that's pretty. right? So I can multiply negative 40 with these terms, and I can do that in my head. Whereas with this one, I would have had to think, right? Alright, so now copy your last term, so plus 2x. So now we can multiply. So negative 40 times x is negative 40x. Multiply negative 40 with negative y, so negative times negative is positive. 40 times y is 40y, and then your last term plus 2x. So now, are there terms that are alike? Yes, we do. We have an x term and then we have another x term. So we can combine those. Negative 40x plus 2x, so that's negative 38x. And then the 40y will just get copied, so plus 40y. Okay, so that was a good example. It looked cumbersome, looked complicated, because we had just so many terms. But again, the concept is simple, right? Okay, so now another example we will do. Okay, maybe we should do something with fraction. Okay, yeah, let's do a fraction. So if I have something like negative 3 over 4 times, let's say, negative 5x plus y plus 8. So here we have a fraction. It doesn't matter what we have. We can have fractions, we can have decimals. Our concept is very simple, and we apply the same concept. So multiply this factor of negative 3 over 4 with each and every term inside the bracket. Negative times negative is positive. Okay, so when we multiply fractions, we multiply the numerator with the numerator, and then the denominators with the denominators. So these right now are not fractions, but this is. We can make these fractions. All we have to do is divide by 1, divide by 1, divide by 1. If it helps you to keep track that when you multiply negative 3 over 4 with negative 5x, you're going to multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. Okay. So negative times negative is positive. 3 times 5x is 15x, all over 4 times 1, which is 4. So the next term, negative times positive is negative. 3 times y is 3y in the numerator. 4 times 1 is 4 in the denominator. Okay? And then we have negative times positive is negative. 3 times 8 is 24. All over 4 times 1 is 4. Okay. So now, are there any terms that are alike? This is the x term, this is the y term, and this is constant. I can reduce this one. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. Okay. So this is 15x over 4 minus 3y over 4 minus 6. So that's the answer. That's where you can stop. Yeah, so that's where we stop. Okay, so I think maybe I can wrap here. Now let me see if there is something else I want to show you, or something really quick. So looking at these examples, okay, so we'll do one example, a short one. So what if we had a factor of positive a on the outside, and we're multiplying with 2x minus 5y? So in this case, again, same thing. So positive times positive is positive. X times 2x is 2ax. So 2ax is the same as 2xa or ax2. It doesn't matter in which order you multiply. And we usually like to write the a first and then the x. So go in a descending order of letters. But it really makes no difference. And the last one, so positive times negative is negative. A times 5y is negative 5ay. So I'm going to wrap the lesson here. I hope you found the tutorial useful. If you did, please like or subscribe, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Once again, thank you for watching.